Bhante.
Good morning.
Morning, Bhante.
Morning, Gandhiji.
Good morning. Bill.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Yes.
Good to see you,
Morning,
Bhante.
Bandiji.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Eh?
Good morning, Ashna.
Morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Saranai.
Good morning. They have beautiful background.
Come on. Teruvan Saranai.
Everyone Saranai.
Everyone, Saranai Bhante.
Everyone Saranai. This from Australia. Oh,
Sadhu.
oh. In Singapore.
Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning. Good morning, Judy. This plug?
Yeah.
Why you cannot see light? Ah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yes, Bhante, we can hear you.
Okay, Doug.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Doug Ibragno. And, okay. We turn to what you call metta. Okay, let us begin with the metta practice. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment. Whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake, one should develop this mindfulness. This is called divine leading here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Keeping this metta thought in mind, let us begin our practice. As usual, sit in upright position, keeping the body straight, and relax. Then take few deep breaths to notice the breath. And then breathe normally, focusing your entire attention on the breath. And notice inhaling as inhaling, exhaling as exhaling. As you inhale, you notice the breath touching the tip of the nose or nostrils, reaching our lungs and expanding our lungs. As we breathe out, our lower abdomen contracts, chest area contracts, and we feel the breath leaving our nostrils. As we breathe in again, we notice the expansion of our chest area, abdominal area, and soon we breathe out Then we notice the contraction of lower abdomen, chest area, and breath leaving the nostrils. These functions are taking place all the time, even if we do not pay attention. They are very naturally happening. This is a very natural rhythm of breathing. As we pay attention to the breath with the relaxed state of mind, the breath becomes slowly calmer and calmer. The body becomes calmer and calmer. Mind becomes calm and calm. When these three segments, the mind, body, breath, becomes calm, we feel our feeling of real relaxed feeling, where we begin to feel metta. Metta for all beings, as we mentioned earlier. In this metta practice, there is no distinction between criminals and victims of criminals. Both equally need our metta. Even the criminals need metta because they become criminal, because they are not relaxed, mental state is confused. They may have many background, old conditions, previously existing conditions that make them criminals. And once they have committed a crime, then they regret for the rest of their life in jail, or even if in society, he suffers. So we need to send metta to even them. That is why metta does not have any discrimination, any condition. Everyone is equal in the face of metta. We feel that, and then we also let go of our clinging, craving to anything. As we practice metta, our resentment or anger fades away. When resentment and anger fades away, we may feel everything is calm, relaxed, metta feeling is there. We may feel sleepy. We must overcome this sleepiness by arousing our energy. This is a very precious time, we must think. We cannot waste a single moment. We don't find too many moments to practice meditation. And whenever we find it, we must do our best to make the best out of it. And then arouse energy. Then there may be excess energy to make the mind and body restlessness and worry. So we overcome that by bringing more calm, peaceful states. And then all this we see happening in our mind, in our body, as we pay attention. We don't learn this from books, from teachers and somebody else, but we learn them all from our own practice, experience. That gives us confidence that this practice is very dynamic as well as practical. When then doubt fades away, then the mind becomes even calm and more peaceful. With that state, as we begin with mindfulness, as a part of mindfulness, we pay attention to the breath and notice the rising and falling of breath, rising and falling of chest area, rising and falling of abdominal area, breath coming and going. All these are very gross example of impermanence, changing things all the time. Changing, incessantly. Nothing stay static. Or nothing is fixed. Everything is in a state of flux, in motion. Everything is appearing and disappearing. They all are volatile. And then when we see this, that is part of our Bojjhanga practice. When we finish this meditation, I will speak more about it in some detail, and for now, let us continue our practice. last recital, Dukkha Patta. Dukkha Patta cha nidukkha, Bhaya Patta cha nibhaya, Soka Patta cha nisoka, Hontu sabbe pipanino, Bhavagupadaya avicihettato, Ittantere sattakayo papanna, Rupi arupi cha asanya sanyino, Dukkha pamunchantu pusantu nibbhuting. By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. With this metta wish, let us begin our talk. Today I am going to talk on the fourth Bojjhanga called Piti Sambojjhanga. We spoke on mindfulness, investigation, joy, investigation and energy, and today is the fourth factor of enlightenment. That is called Piti. Piti is translated into English either as joy or rapture. Joy or rapture arises from various very wholesome, beneficial factors. One is the complete freedom. They are called Viveka. Viveka is leisure time without any particular commitment. The things are going on very smoothly on their own. That is called Viveka. Then another factor, Viveka, when we have that kind of mental state, that kind of physical state, that would be very conducive to arousing joy. Second is Viraga. Viraga means not clinging to anything, not holding on to anything. Let it go, at least temporarily at that time. The more we try to hold on to anything, more tension we build up, then the joy or rapture will no longer be there, will not arise in that situation. Then the third is Nirodha. Nirodha means cessation. We see cessation as we notice in our breathing. One breath arises, passes away and ceases, it will never come back again. Then another breath comes. Like that, when something is arising, it passes away, rising and passing away. We see that. That also helps us to gain joy or rapture. And the last is Vasagga Parinaming. Vasagga means ripening in freedom. Vasagga means letting go. As we mentioned in the earlier instructions on the short meditation, we have to let go. Whatever state arises, we don't try to hold on to it. That is the benefit of these 3 stages. They are called Viveka, Viraga, Nirodha. Viveka means leisure time. Viraga means not clinging. Nirodha means letting go or ceasing. And the result of this is called Vasagga. Now, Viveka or seclusion, it is called seclusion, has 2 kinds. One is physical, other is mental. Physical seclusion, as you all know, when you want to practice some meditation very seriously, you need a secluded place, physical seclusion. And then mental seclusion, that's called Chitta Viveka. Kaya Viveka, Chitta Viveka. And the mental seclusion. Mental seclusions are seclusion from hindrances. When hindrances arise, it is extremely difficult for us to gain joy or rapture. So Kaya Viveka or physical seclusion also needs certain conditions. One is being away from very noisy place. It's called appasadda. We may not be able to find a place without any noise, but less noisy place. Maybe birds singing, squirrels and animals moving and so forth. These are not very distracting, but they are somewhat we can absorb in our practice. That's called appasadda. Then appa nighosa. Nighosa means loud, boisterous talks. Loud talk, loud noise, vehicle, and various other human or mechanical, artificial noises. Away from that. Then we have to have without human movement. It's called Vijanavata. Jana means people, Vata means air. Air created by the movement of physical human beings. Vijanavata. Then Manusaraha Seya. Manusaraha Seya means being able to hide away from humans so that people will not be curious to come and see what we are doing and asking questions, maybe even Dhamma questions, which will be obstructions to our seclusion. Therefore, being able to hide away from people. And then Last is suitable for spiritual practice. Patisallana Sarupa. Patisallana means being able to practice and spiritual practice. And therefore these are the very important physical conditions to gain joy. Just imagine when these factors are complete, how relaxed, calm and peaceful you will be. And then mental seclusion. Of course, physical seclusion we can accomplish, but mental seclusion is very difficult to accomplish, because even when we go to quiet place, secluded place, away from human beings, away from noise and so on, we go with all our junks that we have collected at home, in the office, with people, all kind of talks, various things, especially what we call hindrances. We have seen things and heard noises, smell, tasted, touch and thought. All these are still working. They are lurking in our mind and they are active. So with these things we go to a secluded place. Therefore, we have to overcome them, overcome these various mental factors. And then there are, it is just like very peaceful, quiet place. Just imagine when you have greed always coming to your mind, desire for various things, you cannot gain concentration, you cannot gain joy, happiness. Mind is like what you call colored water. When the water is mixed with various colors, you cannot see the clear water. Similarly, when the desire grips the mind, then we cannot see the reality, the truth, and then joy will not arise there. Then, of course, people may have various kind of excitement, some titillations when they remember or saw something attractive, but that is not what we kind of rapture or joy we need. We need spiritual joy. It is called niramisa sukha, niramisa. Niramisa means spiritual, not carnal pleasure. So then, if the mind is cluttered with anger or hatred, that is like being sick. When we are sick, we cannot taste food. Our taste buds are defective. So even very tasty food will become tasteless, bland. Then when sleepiness, another mental factor, mental hindrance. Sleepiness, when it comes, it of course very often we feel sleepy. There are various ways to overcome sleepiness, but I don't want to spend too much time on explaining, giving the hints to overcome sleepiness. But when we are sleepy, we are just like in a room, close all the doors and windows, no light, in pitch dark. We don't see anything. Similarly, when we are sleepy, how can we see anything? No joy can arise. Sleep itself is not rapture or joy. And then restlessness and worry is being like a slave. When we are slave to various things in our life, we are restless. We want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do that. We have the obligation to this and that. We are slave to all these things. And then we may not have a joy or rapture. Then doubt. Doubt is very much like being in a desert. In the desert you don't have roads, no directions. You are just in the middle of nowhere and you don't know where to go. And so forth. These are the similes that normally you can bring it to your mind to understand the nature of these hindrances. Once we are free from greed, from anger, from sleepiness and drowsiness, restlessness and worry, and doubt, we are completely free. When we are free from what you call anger, what you call desire, the mind is clear. When the mind is free from greed, hatred, mind is clear. And that is the time we have joy. And that joy is inexplicably calming, soothing state. Then one thing that brings a joy to our mind is the practicing of metta. Metta, loving friendliness. As I mentioned earlier, as we read it every day, and we contemplate on that, and each and every word we recite in metta recital brings real peace, happiness, and when the mind is filled with true happiness, true metta, mind is full of rapture and joy. And that is actually called Niramasapiti. Niramasapiti means joy arising not from anything material. Joy arising from something in a mental state which is not related to gaining any material benefit. It is just pure, clean state. And this state also arises from the practice of mindfulness. So the Buddha said in Pali, he said, Yato yato sammasati khandanang udayabhyang labati piti pamojjang amatang tang vijanatang. Whenever one sees rising and falling and rising and falling and rising and falling, there is no any boundaries. It supersedes everything. Everything has rising and falling nature. The truth, the law, that is established truth. And therefore, as we are not expecting to get anything material, we simply want to make the mind peaceful and calm. And when we see the reality, that is the state we have joy. That is the state we experience pleasure or rapture. And therefore, from the very beginning, we started this factors of enlightenment with mindfulness, sati sambojjhanga. One of the invariable factors of mindfulness practice is seeing rising and falling, rising and falling, rising and falling. As I mentioned earlier in other talks, when we see rising, when somebody not engaged in this kind of practice and does not know how to calm the mind, when that person sees something happening again and again, the person will feel bored and tired because of the monotony. Now here, when we see rising and falling, that is unconditional truth, then we become very calm, relaxed, and nothing to excite, but everything is to make us full of joy and arouse our rapture. So the Buddha also said, Dhamma piti sukhang seti, vipassannena cetasa. Dhamma piti means when we see the truth, Dhamma is truth. Sukhang piti, joy arises. Joy arises. Then, for that, we have to be very mindful. We also mentioned earlier that we practice mindfulness factor, investigation factor, and effort. When we make the 4 kinds of effort, as I mentioned the other day on last Thursday, it is a very, very practical, beautiful practice. It is mere mental exercise to prevent like unwholesome mental state from arising, like hindrances. We make effort not to let them arise. When we sit to meditate, they may not be in our mind. Even in the sutras it says, when such and such a hindrance is not in the mind, be mindful of that mental state and try to make an effort to maintain that state so that you will enjoy the rapture, experience the pleasure. When it arises occasionally, try to overcome that. And then when that state is gone, cultivate the wholesome mental state. And then, when the mental state arises, you repeat that mental state, so that mind remains very, very peaceful. So, third mental factor, factor of enlightenment, which is called virya, perseverance, effort, exertion. When we exert, make effort, sometimes you may wonder, how can we be full of joy when we make effort? Because the other day I mentioned, when you make an effort, you accomplish something. When you accomplish something, then you are very, very much happy and your mind is filled with rapture and joy. I give you a very simple material example. Like you are trying to solve a problem, a mathematical problem, for instance. I think even more practical example is, you remember millions of people have been suffering from COVID-19, and some very scientific-minded chemists who are very, very smart, they found after many, many months' effort, they struggled, they made one effort, they exerted, their mind and exercises their mind. They kept thinking, and then discovered or created, manufactured some vaccines. Just imagine how much joy they might have at that very moment. Because so many millions of people can be healed, cured, brought back to their normal life without this sickness. In our other individual's life, as I mentioned, you try to solve a mathematical problem and you keep working. So one day it clicks and you find the solution. That moment you become very, very happy, full of joy, and rapture rises in your mind. Similarly, in spiritual practice, we make effort. That effort is spiritual effort. Very gentle, soft, committed, determined practice. And then something you will see happening. When that thing happens, you are full of joy. And therefore, energy factor of enlightenment is just not making you hyperactive, but it brings you joy. That is why these are logically arranged in certain sequence. That is the nature of this factor of enlightenment. Then, as a result of this practice, what they are called Pradhana in Noble Eightfold Path. It is number 6, Pradhana. And also Buddha said there are 3 main cardinal factors in the Noble Eightfold Path. One is mindfulness, one is understanding, second is mindfulness, third is effort. When these 3 factors combine together, joy necessarily arises in our mind. Then a joy also arises by stages. It doesn't all of a sudden appear like lightning. It appears first minor joy. Minor joy is because this is in our practice, gradual training, gradual practice, gradual attainment. So we gain joy, rapture in a very minute, in an insignificant way, insignificant degree. And that degree is called minor joy. Then that minor joy is popping up very quickly again and again. Therefore it's called momentary joy. This momentary arises, passes to another moment, and so forth. Then third is showering joy, as if you feel in a very hot summer day, you feel very soft, gentle, light rain. You feel very comfortable. Similarly, this showering joy arises in you, in your mind, and then entire body is like washing with cool water in a hot summer day. Then the last is called, fourth is called uplifting joy. You feel your body is physically lifting from the ground. And that's how you feel. Actually, many meditators have reported to us that they feel that they are floating in the air. That's how they feel. And the last joy, type of joy, is all-pervading joy. That is from top to toes, every minute pore in your body is filled with joy. That therefore all your body is covered with this kind of rapture. So this is the result of development of three previous factor of enlightenment: mindfulness, investigation, and effort. Now you may see, when you have investigate, mind will be very agitated, excited, since it is so dynamic. Your joy will not arise. But that leads to joy, because every time you make investigation, you discover something. You discover something new. That something new, some spiritually new, something you discover. And then it will be enhanced by exertion or energy factor. And then, therefore, this joy is more durable than mundane joy, or what you call samisa piti. Samisa piti means the carnal pleasure. Carnal pleasure, you have to have some external, additional persons or situations. But for inner spiritual joy, you don't need anything. You just need the clear, pure state of mind. This is therefore a very meaningful, powerful state of mind, which is a factor of enlightenment. Therefore it is called enlightenment factor of joy. Now friends, with this I like to end this morning's talk. My next talk will be next Saturday, and tomorrow I will answer your questions. If you have any questions related to this practice or meditation practice, please either type on the side of your computer, so that Asha will read it for me, or email to me, so we will answer those questions tomorrow. Now finally, I want to end this session with wishing again everybody peace and happiness. Especially this is a very challenging time for everyone in the world, and many people already suffer the death of their relatives, and I want to wish them to be to understand Dhamma and have peace, and I want to let us send our metta to those people to recover from the grief and return to their regular normal life and continue the practice of Dhamma. And then there are millions of people in hospitals all over the world, taken care of by very compassionate doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs, and all others who facilitate their well-being. And may they all receive our metta and live in very good health, they themselves not being affected by virus, and then continue their very noble, compassionate, wonderful service. There are many who are financially supporting all this wonderful effort of these very noble people. May they continue their financial support, and may they receive our metta and live long in very good health. Overall, those leaders in the world who have made, some leaders have made very intelligent, far-reaching, beneficial, good decisions. May they continue that. And other leaders who have not yet made the decision to help people, may they have wisdom to understand the nature of this sickness and how how devastating it is, and may they have this metta and come to the wise decisions. With this, I want to end this morning session, and I hope you all continue your practice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you so much, Bante.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you, Bante.
Bhante.
Sadhu, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Bante.
Bhante.
Okay. Bye.
Sadhu, Bante.
Okay.
Do you want me to end it?